Hi, this is Yvonne, and I'm here with Chief Wally Brady of Lebanon, and we're going to discuss a little bit today of the drug situation here in Marion County, Lebanon, see what's going on here. Chief Brady is involved with this daily, and we wanted to get an update on what's going on.
Okay. We're some of the drugs that our department deal with or confiscate from time to time is methamphetamine, cocaine. We see cocaine. We see a lot of marijuana. There's some synthetic marijuana, and we do see some heroin. But now, you got counties north and south of us that are seeing a lot more heroin than we are. Okay. You got, like, I think Nelson County and Hardin County and Jefferson County and Bullock County, all those counties north of us and east of us, or west of us and east of us, are seeing more heroin than we are.
Now, do you have any idea why? I
have no idea why, but it seems like back whenever meth was a big issue, all the surrounding counties in Marion County, they were seeing the meth problem, more of a meth problem than what we were. And it's not to say that meth didn't come here. It finally came, right, but it has a slower migration to our area, which is good. I would just assume it never come here, yeah. And the heroin problem, we're starting to see some heroin, but the other surrounding counties around us are starting to see more of a influx of heroin in their areas. We're seeing it, but not on a large percentage.
Okay, now they're also experiencing overdoses.
Yes, and they're experiencing a lot more overdoses than we are. You can talk to your emergency Marion County Ambulance Service director, and he can tell you real quick how many calls for service that they go for ODs. I know. I think that from what information I've been told is in Bardstown, I believe Nelson County, they're responding to like 2-3 ODs daily on a daily basis. We're probably seeing, from what I understand, we're probably seeing 2 to 3 a week. So like I said, and that I think that's basically attributed to the heroin, because they're taking heroin. These drug dealers are taking heroin and they're mixing it with carfentanil, which basically, you know what carfentanil is? It's a elephant tranquilizer. And it doesn't. You can take a grain of salt of carfentanil, I understand, will kill 3 people.
Wow.
Just look at a grain of salt, had the size of a grain of salt. Use that for carfentanil, and I understand that it'll kill 3 people. So it's very, and when they mix that with heroin, it makes it stouter, and people are ODing on it. And what they're using, when people overdose, the ambulance service is using Narcan, and give them Narcan to bring them back around to get them back to the hospital and save their life.
Okay. Now, any idea, I know that you only see certain parts of the drug problem, but any idea why they put that elephant's?
I really don't know unless they're looking for that naturally, if you're out here selling a product, you want to sell a product that's got more kick than your competitors.
Right.
So maybe that's the idea. We add this to it, and it gives you a little bit more kick. It makes it a little bit more desirable. Mm-hmm. And we as human beings like to find more desirable things. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what is the drive behind them wanting to do that, add that stuff to it, maybe, and then they can probably price it for a little bit higher price than just the plain heroin itself. But it's got to the point where it's more of an epidemic than just a small problem. It's a huge problem. Yeah. It's a huge problem, and this is something not only that law enforcement has to deal with, but everybody, society as a whole, has got to deal with this.
Well, there are some people who say when they're doing drugs, well, I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm just doing this to myself.
Right.
Leave me alone, kind of thing.
Right.
Is that what you're seeing? Is it as simple as that? I'm only hurting myself.
I think that a lot of your people that are on drugs to the point that they're addicted to it, I think they think they're the only ones they're harming. But what they don't realize, not only are they harming themselves, they're harming their families. They're harming others. They're harming society. Because you take somebody that's doing a drug and he gets in the car and drives down the road. Who else has he affected? He's going to affect everybody on the road. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and just like everything else, the people that are on the drugs are, you know, naturally, where it's expensive, it's an expensive habit. So they've got to acquire that monies somewhere to help fund that habit. Well, if they're not working, where is the most obvious place they're going to go? They're either going to start stealing from their families and try to get money from their families or whatever, or steal from their families. And then if they don't have anybody like that, you know what? That increases our crime rate, or our theft rate, and burglaries. Our burglaries go up. All our crime rates all start going up because people are trying to get funds needed to support their habit. And you know, all the time, you can look at any crime that we have in Lebanon, and not only it's not just specific just to Lebanon, it's anywhere in the United States of America. You have someone, if you got a large drug problem, you're going to have a large crime rate. Your thefts are going to go up. Your burglaries are going to go up. Your robberies are going to go up. And it's all connected. Everything is connected back to one common denominator, and that's drugs.
Okay. So that one person there, it didn't just affect just one. It spread out.
It affects everybody. Yeah, it affects everybody. And that's why I say a while ago, this is not just a small drug problem. We got an epidemic in this country, in this state, across the state of Kentucky. We got an epidemic. You know, and naturally there's three legs to trying to resolve this drug epidemic. There's you know, you got education. Mm-hmm. You got to educate the public, raise your awareness of how these drugs affect people, and then there's also another component is enforcement. You know, you got to limit the drug dealers and limit the drugs off the street. You got to do that part. That's the second leg of it. And then the treatment. You got to follow up with. That's rehabilitation facilities. You got to let people know if they're on drugs where there is rehabilitation facilities that they can go to and try to get them off this terrible cancer. And I call it a cancer because that's what it does. It's affected our young people bad.
Okay. Now with those three legs, tell us, how is Marion County doing with those?
I would say you know, one of those alone is not going to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. You got to come together as three. As far as education, there's all kinds of education out there on the internet, anywhere, about trying to let people have an idea of what to do to either eliminate or try to prevent that type of addiction. You know, we do the DARE program here in Marion County. Mm-hmm. A lot of police agencies are trying to avoid doing the DARE program. They say it doesn't work. Well, sure, it doesn't have any long-term effects, they say, but I think it does, because I was a DARE teacher here in Marion County, in the Marion County school system, for like almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been in law enforcement almost 33 years, and I still have kids come up to me. Well, kids, I call them kids, yeah. But they're grown adults with kids themselves, come up to me and thank me from time to time for teaching them the DARE program. And I asked them, I said, well, let me ask you something. What about the DARE program? Do you think the DARE program helped you make the right choices in life and keep you off drugs? And most of them tell me yes, that's what done it. And they thank me for teaching them the DARE program. There was a young trooper that come in here about a year ago, and we had 3 new troopers work this area. And I introduced myself. I was off duty in plain clothes, and I was at a service station down here on West Main. And I seen this trooper pull in his cruiser, and he got out of the cruiser, and I walked up to him and introduced myself, and he told me, I know you. He said, you taught me DARE when I was in the 5th grade. And I said, where at? And he said, West Marion. I said, yeah, I did teach at West Marion. Mm-hmm. So that makes you feel good, you know. Yes. And you know, things like, and then kids like that all the time. I say kids, but it's grown adults, it's young adults. And I think education is important. Enforcement is important. Treatment. There's rehabilitation facilities around that people can go to. There's Lifeline. There's a Lifeline ministry going on out. I think it's at the extension office on Thursday nights. And I don't know that much about Lifeline, but I do know that it does help people that are addicted to drugs. It helps families. They talk to families that have people that might be on drugs and they need maybe some information. They can contact the Lifeline Ministries. And if you want any more information about the Lifeline Ministries, you can contact Abundant Life up on North Spalding Avenue, Abundant Life Church. Brother Neil Gordon up there will tell you what you need to know. My brother-in-law, I think, leads that program, Mitchell Wheatley. He's got Wheatley Body Shop out on Loretta Highway. Call him. He'll give you any information you want about the Lifeline program. There's also drug court going on. We have drug court here that involves Judge Anderson. Judge Amy Anderson leads the drug court program. There's Judge Spalding is on it. I'm on it. The sheriff is on it. There's a couple attorneys that are on it. There's a drug court team that's of lay people that are hired to conduct this program, and it's had a lot of success. So there is other treatment programs out there where that you don't have to become a prisoner of drugs. There's other avenues that you can seek out to try to get yourself off drugs. But the main thing in order to get off drugs is it's got to start with you. You got to want to get off drugs. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Right. You can take him to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's what happens a lot of times. These people that are under this influence of these drugs and with this drug epidemic, you can take them to a treatment program, but the problem is a lot of times is they can check themselves out, Yeah. And then let's say once they get into a treatment program and they get out, they're successful, they get out, you got to change your whole lifestyle. You can't go back into the same habits that you once was doing before. You can't hang around with the same friends you used to hang with. You got to isolate yourself from your old life in order to stay drug free and successful. It's because yourself. The problem is if you're a former addict and you go right back into the same lifestyle that you was living prior to getting cured of that, you're going to fall back into old habits. Yeah. And we as human beings have a hard time pulling ourselves away from old habits. That's just human nature. That's human nature.
Well, I was going to ask you about families as well. I know for those people out there who have family members who are involved with drugs, what do you suggest they do?
What the families can do, like one thing, like I say, they can maybe talk to Lifeline Ministries. They might give them some suggestions of things that they can do. Some things, and the sad part is sometimes you have to just do tough love. It's hard to do, but sometimes you just have to be tough and stick to your guns. As far as families coming up, get involved with your children, get involved with your kids, because if you're involved with your kids, you know what's going on and you know what they're doing. Try to create positive goals, and another thing they can do, is just be involved. Yeah. Be involved. But like I said, the people that have family members that are on drugs, one thing they can do is get in touch with the Lifeline Ministries, and I feel sure there's other ministries out there that I don't know about, but they can get involved with them and they can give them maybe strategies that they can use to help them cope with the type of problems that they're coping with. Because I'm telling you what, it don't only affect just the addict, it affects the families. Because these families sometimes get torn apart and stressed and worried. Anytime you have a loved one that's whether it's drugs or whatever has problems, you're going to be concerned, and the family members, you're going to be worried about them. You're going to be worried about them. But the sad part about it is only, according to state police statistics, only 10% of addicts get treatment. Only 10%. So with that being said, there's 90% of the people out there, addicts out there, that are not seeking treatment. So that's not very good odds. That's not very good odds. So, you know, and then you know, that 90% is the ones out here that's creating all these problems and robbing from Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. You know, so it's an epidemic. It's not just a small problem. It's become an epidemic, and we as a society need to think of strategies and things that we can do to prevent that and try to turn this around. I wish I knew the exact answer why, because if I could write a book on that, I'd be a rich man, you know. But one thing they could do is, I got this off the website, for anybody, any family members that are looking for information or help, they can call this number right here, or they can go on and get this website, and it'll tell them where the nearest treatment facilities are. That's off the Kentucky State Police website, and that gives them an 800 number that they can call. And like I said, that gives them a website that they can also seek to help them with whatever process they may have to try to give them strategies that they might need to try to help their family members. Because it's all about helping the families. Because here's the sad part: the young people that are doing this right now, that's our future. That's our future, you know, and you know what? The people, the addicts out here, they're good people. They've just got caught in a problem right now that's got them delayed, and got them. It's not hurting them, but hurting their families. So we got to find strategies and ways to try to eliminate this from our society.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us
You're
today.
You're entirely welcome.
Thank you. We've been with Chief Wally Brady here at the Lebanon Police Department, and we want to thank you for updating us on what's been going on in Lebanon, and for giving us some hope and sharing this 800 number
Yes.
for anyone who needs help with drug addiction.